Alright guys, welcome back to another stream. As we said yesterday, today we have another training rapid match, which I'm pretty sure you guys are glad to see because you guys said that in general this is way more instructive. So let's see. What am I going to do in the first game? Today I have white in the first game. Do I want to play some mainline stuff or do I want to play some funky sidelines like bishop f4, bishop g5, knight c3, and so on? I would need some more time to think about it. Probably. Okay, maybe let's play Catalan this time. How about that? c4, e6, g3. Why not? Oh, buongiorno Regina Bianca, come stai? Sì, sono bene. Gioco un match rapido contra un GM. So he goes c5. And now, of course, I can go knight f3 or d5 for the Benoni. And this time I'm gonna play d5 again. Even though that Benoni game we played in the last training rapid match didn't go well for me. I had an amazing position and I was winning for half of the game. So yeah, let's play Benoni again. And hello to Meibara. If you played the regular Benoni move order, would you have played the Taimanov variation? I don't know which one would I have played. I would probably play a d5 and then e4, f4, bishop b5. There are a lot of games where I played that in my database, usually with good results. Okay, so after rook e8, there are so many options. There's bishop f4, there's a4, there's knight d2, there's rook e1. I'm kind of in favor of rook e1. I'm not 100% sure why, because it's less analyzed and less forced than bishop f4 lines. So I'm gonna go with that one. I'm not a big expert in the Catalan Benoni, unfortunately. But yeah. You guys know that here I'm not playing... That here I'm not playing my main lines, but this serves as practice to learn about new openings and ideas. And hello to King Shield. White Benoni is a strategically inferior opening. Well, because you miss a central pawn with black. You have a majority 3 against 2 here, you have some control, but you have less space, and you're missing a central pawn. Usually I like central pawns, because the e4, f4, and the e5 plan is usually harder to parry than a6, b5 plan. But of course it depends, it's still playable. Same as you can say at King's Indian being strategically inferior opening because you have less space. And the bad bishop on g7. But even though white will always be better, you always get counter chances. So yeah. Still playable stuff. My opponent's taking some time to think here. By the way, do you have any requests for openings in other games with white or black? I can play what you guys want in these matches. Okay, so now h3 is always like a typically useful move in order to stop knight g4, knight d5 ideas. So that I might play. Knight d2 is very normal, trying to knight c4. Bishop f4 is normal, surely. Then there are those lines with knight e4 takes, rook e4, bishop d6, queen b6 hitting here and here. I've played this with black sometimes. Going h3 or bishop g5 in the Najdorf is always a fun time. Okay, then I will do that. Let's go h3 in this game. My opponent might play knight e5, or maybe a6, a4, rook b8, and then trying to go b5. It's also very possible. However, if the rook comes to b8, then the line with bishop f4, knight e4 takes, and bishop d6, the rook will be hanging. So that's an advantage for me. Okay, a6. That one you should usually stop in this Fianchetto Benoni structure. So my opponent goes for knight e4 now. That makes a lot of sense, because after takes, for example, knight d2 or something like that, when the rook comes to b4, I can't really go a3 anymore. So it feels weaker for me. But still, how bad is that? After takes, for example, knight d2, rook b4, then this is hanging, then I go queen c2. My opponent is going to play what? Queen a5 is no good because of bishop d2, rook b2, queen b2. Knight e5. Maybe knight e5, but then I can go f4. He has bishop f5, but I can go e4. That does look good, actually. What's the alternative even to that? Maybe queen c2? But yeah, okay, let's play in a strategically more ambitious way. Trying to go here and knight c4. I know how my camera brightness is. Maybe I should make it a bit brighter. I always kind of struggle with this stuff. Suppose this is fine for now. Okay, rook b4, queen c2 as I intended to play. Yeah, bishop f5 stops I'm not concerned about because it'll go e4. Of course, after he moves the knight. Now he can't do it yet because of the rules of chess. But if he doesn't do that, I'm going to go knight c4 and bishop d2 next to move. Very curious to see how he's going to parry that. Considering I'm not a big expert, I know that these lines always exist. Of course, I've seen many games where they do that. But I'm very curious the strategy after that. So how is my opponent going to play now? So you're just going to play a slow move like rook b8, and then after knight c4 continue with knight b6 or knight e5? Maybe that's like a viable option. Also, I don't have to go knight c4, I can go knight e4. The point being to put more pressure on this pawn and also threaten bishop f4. This knight e4 idea in this Benoni instead of e4 is very often relatively strong. I suffered in one game, so yeah, my opponent does exactly that, just waits, makes a prophylactic move, trying to turn knight c4 to kick my knight there. Yeah, I once on the European Team Championship I suffered in a horrible game after my opponent played knight e4 and bishop g5. I was dead lost quite quickly. When I was playing this stuff with black, similar idea, but my rook was not on b4, it was on e8. But still, knight e4, the problem remains the same, I think. Knight f6, and if I... But wait, then bishop g5 maybe, because if h6 then takes, bishop h6, rook b2... I don't think that favors me, honestly. I can make a move like rook a2. Just to reinforce the protection of this pawn. Just like a prophylactic move. I don't know, e4 I usually don't want to play. At least I feel like. Because quite a lot of things will get exposed, especially my king. Yeah, surely it's the secret GM Ante H77K. Thus far I haven't played any other training match with my other training partners, but if I'll be playing with other ones, I will also try to get their permission to stream it. Because I'm not playing only against this GM, I'm playing against some other GMs too. I don't know, I kind of like rook a2. Kind of like this prophylactic move. Because it's not only about knight c4, I can also try to play b3 next move, and then bishop a3. Also, this rook will still lack squares. So he would need to now find some nice idea to make all of this work. Maybe b5 is that nice idea, because if I go a5 trying to trap the rook, then this pawn will be weak and he will have the a4 square if needed, and also c4, knight c5, knight b3 will probably come in a couple of moves. And yeah, if I take, then he can take with the rook, and then the rook is free. Rook b4 is such a weird move, and it was not that popular in the early days, but when the engines came, they understood that this idea is very playable in quite a lot of these Benoni lines. A5. This move I would not consider. Let's see, why is it good for him? Why if I play knight c4? Or knight e4 for that matter. I don't understand this move. Knight c4, maybe knight b6 is the idea. Even there I should be quite happy after b3, I think. I don't understand this move. Knight c4, knight e5. But there I can take, and after bishop e5, go bishop d2. We don't see a square for his rook. If it goes to b6, then there is bishop a5. Knight c4, b5, there's of course knight d6. So knight c4, knight b6 is probably what's going to happen, and then I will have to choose between knight a5, which looks fair, and this b3. Yeah, I'm very puzzled with this move. Am I missing something stupid? I mean, an alternative move is knight e4. And again, after knight f6, bishop g5. To enter that line with h6, knight takes, bishop h6, but then maybe he can go b5, and this is extremely weak again. So I would not like to play that. I think I need the knight here. Maybe all of this is good for him, and the problem is that they just don't have experience in the structure. And he knows exactly these plans. I wouldn't be surprised. He knows more about the Benoni than me. Knight c4, a3, b5 is what comes to mind with me. Yeah, so knight a3, knight b5, that could be also a very interesting option. But yeah, for example, if we go here, he will go bishop d7, and then he will parry all the threats. But I don't understand why I can't just take and go bishop d2. What's the defense? Maybe the intention is to sacrifice an exchange positionally, but I don't believe in it. I don't know. I'll trust myself. No matter did have less experience in this structure, I'll trust myself. We go here. And let's see. Very curious what this is about. Here I still have e4. Rook d4, I will go e3. No harm done, all the squares here are covered. Rook b6 runs into this stuff. Even though then he can go rook b2 maybe. No, wait, take. Yeah, this looks quite good, because I don't believe in exchange sacrifices. I will take it. I will go f4, e4, and d5. It's highly unlikely it can be any good for black, but let's see. I have been known to misevaluate positions before in these matches. Hello to G set. Sorry for mispronouncing and butchering your name. Yeah, I feel like I achieved everything again out of the opening. The exchange sacrifice move can be something like bishop d7, trying to force a position after takes. Then I would probably play f4. He would go back. I would go e4, and then he would go b5, takes, and yeah, we play on. But I just don't believe in it for black. Just don't think he has enough counterplay. He will have this 2 versus 1 majority. But yeah. I don't even have to take the rook immediately. I can make a prophylactic move like b3. Then he would probably play b5. Then I would be forced to take. Can even go f4 first. To go f4 and d4 first. But anyway, his counterplay is connected with the b5 idea. f4 I want to play anyway with e5. So I don't think there is a reason why not to start with f4. If bishop b2, rook b2, bishop a4, no, I just... it's nothing, can't sack pieces like that. Bishop a4 first, rook a4, rook b2. Again, nothing as far as I see. So let's start with that. If there is a reason why it's bad, I don't see it, so let it be. Yeah, and if bishop g7, which I'm expecting now, e4 I can play first. If rook d4, bishop c3, the rook should still be trapped. Even after rook c4, queen d3. Maybe then he can save the rook somehow. Okay, maybe I should just collect material. He takes with the a pawn, I go e4, trying to go e5. He would go b5. Takes, bishop b5. Can go e5 immediately even. There is some b3 idea though. Takes. I mean, probably smart for him is to include bishop d4 check, king h2, so that this bishop doesn't stay passive after e5. Okay, I will still go for this. I will take that rook. Okay, now he can take with the c pawn, with the idea being queen b6 check, followed by b3. But then he's losing control over the d4 square, and he's going with pawns in a bad direction. So logically enough, he doesn't do that. I think I should go e4. I mean, my plays in the Benoni's is always connected with e4, e5. Probably here it's the same case. My rook on a2 is for now quite stupid, but as soon as he goes for the b5 idea, it will become way more active. This is not a clear exchange, by the way. He does have some counterplay and this very strong bishop and the long diagonal. However, it is an exchange, and if I can get in e5, e6, the position should be very bad. I can maybe make a move like queen b6, but probably just a5 after that. At least as far as I've seen, because after b3 I can take and go rook c1 and collect the pawn, and if he goes to a7, then well, he doesn't threaten he's not threatening b3 anymore, even though he's threatening still c4 check, and then b3, but I can go king h2 or something. This exchange stack feels like amongst the most dubious I've ever seen. Yeah, I don't know, that a5 plan seems quite weird. I think he was supposed to play b5, but who am I to say? I don't know too much about the structures in this Fianchetto Benoni. As Peter Spidler himself said, the Fianchetto Benoni is probably the worst Benoni for white. Okay, so regarding openings, so I will play the bishop g5 or h3 neither with white next game. What about black against his annoying d4 repertoire? There will be two games where I'm black. Which openings do you want to see? I need to ask you, because then if I get crushed, I will be able to say that it's my chat's fault and not my own. Joking, of course. But yes, on a serious note, just tell me which openings see. Oh, hello to Shellingford, you're also here watching these horrible games. Our international master Shellingford. Also follow his channel, of course, but he's streaming in German. But he's not talking to me because he says play what you know best, young man, and I'm not young anymore. So yeah, 1d4 has so many interesting defenses, that's true. The King's Indians I've played in the first match, which was some 2 weeks ago or so. It's also on my YouTube. Yeah, last time I played that knight bd7 on move 4. And what did I do in the other game with black? I went for what? Can't really remember what I went for in the other game. It's that game which I lost. Yeah, I went for the a6 on move 4. Went for a6 and move 4. And hello to Pillow Pawn. Yeah, I can play the Greenfeld, surely. Yeah, a6 wins can be declined. It needed some time to remember. Okay, so as far as I've seen, a5 should be the move here. To get that queen away from here. b3 it doesn't work. Rook c1 and then I will collect this pawn. Queen a7, queen c7, queen b5, those are possible moves. Queen b5 probably runs into bishop f1, and I would of course prefer my bishop on c4 than on g2, so that it stops the pawn avalanche. So yeah, he's going to retreat the queen somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where. Probably a7, because the threat remains with c4 and b3. And then my plan was to go king h2. And then he can play maybe b6 or b5, but then the a6 pawn is going to also be a very strong passer, even though he'll get his passers of his own. Yeah. So for example, okay, queen a6, that's a move I haven't considered. What's it about? Let's see. He wants probably b5 and then c4. Or c4 first. However, if we go e5 now, why is it good for him? Because now I destroyed the bishop with e5. Maybe his idea is to go b6 after e5. After b6, if I go rook a1, then he can take on e5. And after b6, if I go e6, that's probably better. But the bishop is activated once again. So he would go some bishop e8, probably. e7. Weird position. e5 is a move I want to play, but I'm not sure. Maybe again bishop f1 makes sense, but the problem is then he'll go b5. I can't take en passant. We'll go c4 next move. Play the Botvinnik Semislav. My opponent won't know what I'm doing if I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So it's for black games, one Grunfeld, one Botvinnik Semislav. So 4 c6. Bishop f1. The problem is I think b5 because I can't take en passant. And if bishop f1, b5 I don't do anything, then c4 and b3 are going to come. I don't think that's too great. And hello to Bufa LOL. I should change my Twitch username to Commander Leon. Why do I not get a captain's title and I get only commanders? I can go b3 technically, then the rook is defended. And b5 ideas are weaker, but the problem is that then he gets in this bishop c3 move, which I don't want him to have. Because I will have to move my rook to an awkward square. Either move it away from the e-file, or yeah. Okay, this is uncomfortable. I feel like I should play e5, but I'm not sure at all. Technically I can retreat the rook and allow c4. Rook a1, c4. Okay, sorry for... I will need to focus on getting into time trouble. Okay, a1, c4, bishop f1. Rook c8 probably. Don't really love that either. Okay, then let's play for instinct, what I don't like. Let's play e5. I don't like to play for instinct, but I'm getting into time trouble, and destroying this bishop feels like what's needed. What's needed the most, at least. Or as Bogolyuba once said, the good thing about my move is that my opponents don't understand them. The downside is I don't understand them either. So yeah, that's a subtle message from Shellingford that he will start playing new openings soon. And hello to Ipo. I'm not playing followers, I am playing against a fellow GM. Considering I haven't won the last match, it ended 2-2, I have to win this one. Is my Lichess in Croatian? Yeah, it's in Croatian. It's in Croatian. I haven't changed the setup to English because it's all the same to me. English, Croatian, same thing. Yeah, written Croatian language is hard. It's hard to learn Croatian, one of the hardest languages in Europe. Probably immediately after Finnish, Hungarian, and Greek. You can't get over the fact that the Bogo Indian can be called the Bozo Indian. The Bogo Indian... yeah. I'm not playing it that much. I've used it in the last round of the Croatian Championship, and it worked perfectly. So my last memory with it is good. But again, it's not one of my... Actually, I don't have a main opening. I'm playing everything. So. Your chess understanding is too bad to double in new openings, but nice try. Nah, come on, international masters have good chess understanding. Trust me. My opponent is thinking, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play b6. Still, then I can maybe take on d6. That hasn't occurred to me. But it has a point, because after takes, take here. But he can include bishop d4, checking h2, and then take. If I play rook e7, he's in time with queen d6. Okay, rook e8, not the move I expected, and I can immediately tell you why. It's because after e6 takes, rook e6, there's bishop d5, and after bishop takes, I can take with the rook, and then go bishop d5. So after e6, I feel like... I mean, I don't have to react even immediately, I can go rook a1 first, so that the rook is protected. Because e6 doesn't really make that big of a threat, but I can go rook a1 first. The point being after takes, I still have takes on c5. And the rook is defended and my rook on a2 is not stupid anymore. Maybe his idea is to go bishop f5 after that, but I can go queen a4 with a tempo. If he goes c4, probably 6 again. Yeah, I'll need the rook here also to go for the attack on the e file. Okay, this feels better. Even though I'm not sure if after immediate e6 there are any problems. But for example, king f8 would have been a move, or something similar, and then he's threatening to take, and I can't take either one of these because the rook is undefended. That's why I'm defending the rook first, and yeah, protecting... not protecting e5, it's not protected, but tactically I can take c5, and if this falls apart, then it should be a clean exchange. How do you pronounce that? Приятельска. Приятельска. It means friendly. It's an unrated game, so yeah. Friendly game. So Shallingford, when are you going to start playing 1e4? Okay, here I intended to go queen a4, hit the rook, and also maybe threaten some stuff. I could have also put the queen on f2, but then after all of these moves I would have to worry about bishop d4, and also queen f2 is not a tempo, and this is a tempo. Can also play g4 in one of the next moves, then to ask this bishop where is it gonna go, because if it goes to d3 then I can go e6 and he can't take it. If he goes back, well, then I can go back myself also, and the bishop is not so annoying anymore. Also bishop f1 is an idea, and that hasn't occurred to me. But it's still a very playable move. By the way, Shelling, we're going to have to also make one of our old matches again. There is only one on my YouTube, and there should be some more. Okay, my opponent plays rook e7. If I go bishop f1, maybe bishop d3 is the point. No, but then I take here. Wait, what's the move after this? He can't go c4 because this hangs. If he moves the queen away, then I can take d6. Bishop d3 maybe only move. Then I take d6. Bishop d4, king h2, no harm done. Or maybe there is harm done. Wait, let's calculate here. Now we need to calculate accurately. Bishop d3, ed, bishop d4 check. h2, let's say. Rook e1, bishop f1, d7. As far as I see, no checks, and I promote next move either with help of rook e8 or without it. He would retreat bishop f6, d8 check. And I think bishop f1 is best. g4, bishop d3. Yeah, I'm not threatening e d6. Let's trust the calculation. You never turn down the challenge? Yeah, we're gonna have to play some match. Okay, this move I haven't considered. Okay, so obviously the idea is e d6, c4 check, and then try to infiltrate here with the queen. For example, he'll go bishop e4 check, then I would have to take, go d7, but I don't really like it. So I feel like there is a very simple move. Bishop c4 to stop all of these ideas, and then e d6 next move. And after this, I think I have d6. Bishop h3 I can take. Yeah, bishop d3. Takes is an option, queen b5 is an option. Looks good. But considering what kind of a position I lost in the last match, because of time trouble, I will have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful now. With only 1 minute. But at least I have increment. Without increment, I would lose this 10 out of 10 games. You can go bishop d7 back, technically. That might be best. Then I would go queen c2 or queen b3. Maybe queen b3 is actually better, because after d I want to have this with the attack on f7. Yeah, queen b3 is probably better. Okay, queen b8, but that allows me some ideas also, like a6. Feels like if I open everything up here and go queen a8, it will be dead lost. At least that was my original plan, and I'm going to follow it. I don't even care about these pawns, like an h3. I only care about the d pawn, the passed pawn, which I'm going to have soon. Because if this, first of all, there is queen a8, huge tempo, and secondly, there is d6 even, after rook e8, d6, rook e8. I mean, probably it's better to play it simply, like, play it in a simple way. Queen a8, I don't see counterplay for him. He can go rook b7 or rook e8, then I trade, go fe5. Yeah, I don't really see it. Because I'm still an exchange up, and I have huge positional domination also. But I can still screw it up. It won't be the first time. I want to teach my opponent once and for all to not play the Benoni. It's not a good opening. Okay, rook a8, take it. I can go g4 first so that there isn't even this bishop h3 stuff in the air. This I'm not that afraid of. Where's he gonna go, actually? He goes to d7, then my pawn's going to be even stronger. Of course, taking is fine, but why to give up a pawn if I don't have to? Okay, bishop c2. I take it. This is hanging. He goes b3, but he's playing extremely quickly now. So rook a7 feels extremely strong with d6 in the air. Probably I should play that one. d6, and here it should collapse. He doesn't have counterplay. He can't attack here. Those gems are slippery. You really have to force them to their graves. Yeah, then You can never really... No game is over until the last move has been played. If you relax too early, that can lead to a loss, from no matter how winning you are. I mean, you remember that last match, how I lost it, lost the last two games. Austria, this is the first game. This is the end of the first game, as you can see by time. This is the end of the first game, indeed. So, the first suggestion was the Grimfeld. I will play the Grimfeld first, and then secondly I will play the Semislav, because you guys chose that. And hello to Ingo, good morning. Yeah, Piotr, he is a GM. But I don't understand that A5 plan with the exchange sack. I think B5 is way better. Grimfeld, an opening I have never tried. No, I've tried it once in classical chess with black, and it was a draw. But I've played quite a lot of lines with white against it, including this one. C6, and then the idea is usually to castle and go c5. Even though some people like MVL or I have tried b5 and a5 recently. From what you looked at the ancient, the exchange sack was surprisingly valid. And that would surprise me, but okay, I'm gonna analyze the games later after the whole match ends. Yeah, I know my opponent, I know him. But he did give me permission to stream these matches, but not to reveal his name. Yeah, c5 before bishop g7. It's probably more accurate, but this is also fine. So yeah, this stuff which MVL played, I mean, I don't know it, and it's not really Grinfeld's. It's not really Grinfeld's spirit. You always usually go c5 takes and then try to create something. But yeah, this bishop b5 line I haven't looked at in a while. When the knight is on f3, then there are those lines with takes, bishop g4, then knight c6, bishop c6, takes, then you take on f3, somehow they take with the g pawn, and it's analyzed basically till a draw. But here, with the knight on e2, can't say I know what I'm doing. Taking and playing b6 or playing b6 immediately is surely something to be considered. Knight c6 is a move, but then d5, knight d5. What's the whole point of this line for white with knight d2? Is it to be able to go bishop a3, maybe? I don't really believe in that. I can also play a move like queen c7 for a start, try to go rook d8. Because if he goes bishop f4, I can play e5. Without her bishop g3, I'm not sure about that. Also, I don't know, let me play this. b6, it's the Grinfeld spirit. Go bishop b7, bishop a6. This I don't think I should be afraid of. After takes. Even though maybe it's also fine. I'm not sure how instructive the Grinfeld game will be, considering that it's one of the areas I have least expertise in. But yeah, maybe it will still be Maybe it will still be good. By the way, guys, should I play today the bullet brawls, titled arenas, and all of those no increment raging tournaments or not? You could try bullet brawl. Are there people that manage to cheat in bullet? I'm pretty sure yes. They're using all kinds of bots or made up programs. I mean, for example, everyone's always telling about people cheating online, but I have never actually heard one single time that they have actually said how people cheat online, or shown the facts, or shown how it can be done. So there are a lot of accusations, but how do they actually do it? I would really like to know. Some of these top GMs tell me, how do they cheat online? Do they use some bots, which is probably most likely, which scans the position and gives them past move immediately, or what? I mean, I have no idea. Most of us will say yes to that question. If you feel like playing, sure, why not? I don't really feel like playing no increment. I said that I retire from that. Of course, you're not a fan of watching bullet streams. You're an IM and you can't learn anything. I'm not a fan of making bullet streams also. They use bots which auto move. Yeah, I know, Bufa, that you meant that. I know. Can change the difficulty of the rating on the bot. How do you know so much about that? Okay, bishop a6 might be a move. This bishop is relatively annoying here. Should be softened, might also be a move. I'm not sure if this is a threat. Usually you're never afraid of this in the Greenfeld. Okay, several tempting options here. Bishop a6, bishop b7. Bishop b7 forces something in the center, but d5 is not that bad for him as far as I understand. Go knight bd7 also, but then maybe some bishop c6. I don't think I'm that afraid of it though. With my knight, maybe I want it on c6 and not on d7. I need to understand the strategy here and choose the right one. If you have new positions to think about, you always need to understand the strategy. We go bishop a6. What does he play? Because I can consider moves like CD, bishop e2, CD, and takes. Though I lack development to an extent. Queen c7 makes sense in order to not be pinned anymore. I'd probably play d5 against that. And then I can't really go e6. This bishop g5 move is annoying. In this game I might easily get into time trouble. And it could cost me. due to my not knowing the Greenfield well enough. I mean, maybe I can play CD bishop here, and then if d5, then I get the square. Could be also a move. I know, but I have to make a move quickly. So take, bishop e7. This is hanging. If d5, knight d7, followed by knight c5. Maybe even take, but I don't really believe in takes. Okay, let's make a move. I like this best compared to all the other options. Playing some kind of double fianchetto style, and though he has the center. And Greenfield, he always has the center. Wait, I missed quite a lot in the chat. There are plugins that actually make moves for you. There exists a program that you can make a screenshot from the position and open analysis board. But if they use that, how do they... If they can use that, basically everyone can use it at any time, in any game. How do you know it? That they're using it. Here taking the exchange makes way more sense, makes way less sense than in the last game. So I'm pretty sure I will stick to my original idea of going knight d7, knight c5. There's increment. You can't remotely your trusses play on the board by flagging opponents. That makes a lot of sense. Kramnik just called C complex, and Kramnik said that we should keep an eye on some guys in this chat. You're blundering every game? Yeah, the chat is very interesting. The chat is very interesting indeed. How do you get to a position you can blunder in the first place? You can blunder in any position, as far as I know. You're well versed in theory, so you tend to get good positions that you throw away in one move. Yeah, quite a lot of players do that. Okay, so I don't know what... Like, in general, I would want to go knight c5, and I want to play e6 sooner or later. Why? Because to destroy this pawn phalanx and open the bishop in b7. So something like this, bishop c2, queen d7, followed by e6 will be my plan. My opponent could play knight d4 though, aiming at knight c5, knight c6. But then I can probably take e4, and this is still in the air, so I'm unsure. I'm unsure about how good it is for him. It's really playable. How well can you remember lines usually? Up to which move? I don't know, C complex. You would have to ask Kingo that. What are other possible moves for my opponent? Bishop c6 I don't believe in. I can take, go knight e5. Hard to believe he can ever have anything here. Bishop c2 prophylaxis, maybe, but it doesn't change my plan much, because when the knight comes to c5 he cannot chase it away from there. Yeah, only this knight d4 is probably an active solution here. If bishop c6 done, bishop d4 maybe, because if queen d4, bishop c6, that's bad. So bishop d4 takes here. Maybe he's calculating this. Say 1, he takes a8. But When he retreats, when I retreat, he retreats. This will still be happening. As far as I have calculated, it's probably good for me. And hello to the great Danton9. Good afternoon to you too. Probably, where are you then? Somewhere in Eastern Russia, China, India, Australia. Because for me it's morning, early, not early, but it's 10 a.m. Scope and DOMs, I think some openings are easier to learn along lines. 4 in the Alekhine, there are a lot of lines that don't really start until move 9 or so. That's very true, because if you have the first 7 or 8 moves very logical and straightforward, like in the Alekhine, especially in the 4 pawns Alekhine and stuff like that, then it's easier to learn, of course. And more moves to learn also, to move 20 or so. Tola the King, will you ever play viewers? Yeah, maybe in the future. I mean, I know that I've said it many times and I haven't played viewers yet, but yeah, it's not really in the plan just yet. But maybe in the future. I mean, I should probably make announcements on the streams and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm still doing it for fun, not professionally, even though I gained quite a lot of new followers. You've had one line in the Botvinnik Slav over the board game, that's a draw by move 25 or something by Perpetual. Yeah, lots of those. But I'm pretty sure my opponent will play the Marin here. Botvinnik is not in his style after c6. Pretty sure he will play e3. But okay, we'll deal with that when the time comes. Opponent blundered 2 moves before, you have to repeat, so you won. Well, of course, that's how chess works these days. You learn an equal line, which is hard to understand over the board. If your opponent finds it, well done, he makes a draw. If your opponent doesn't find it, you win the game. Ah, you're in India. Okay. Greetings to India. Very interesting indeed. Kramnik said most players below 2750 FIDE can barely remember more than 3 moves in the opening. Very interesting, Ingo. Okay, the trolling is here. The line you feel the most theory bullshit is Ruy Lopez, the closed and martial attack. Yeah, I mean, my playing style is that I tend to avoid theory these days in forest lines, but maybe I should change that. I don't really like this memorization. But it depends on the person. Spend roughly 2 Saturdays, hard work pays off. Sure it does. You were 1500 back and crashed to 2100. Yeah. Go for the 5b5 Vienna. I can go for the 5b5 Vienna, but if he plays for Catalan, I don't know. Okay, I know that it's my move and that I have to think, but let me get... let me see the chat. Okay, C-Complex is trolling by calling FIDE. And hello to GMV Sharky. Recently you started building a white repertoire and decided to play Spanish with d3, bishop b5 against Sicilian. And you're very struggling with the French? If you are struggling with the French, I mean, probably the easiest... If you play bishop b3 against Sicilian, usually you need... I feel like you need something more positional, so that would probably be knight d2 and move 3. And then if c5, then... Well, even knight f3, cd4, knight d4 is probably an interesting solution for you. But knight d2, c5, ed5, queen d5, knight f3, cd4, bishop c4, queen d7 probably. You can play those lines with queen e2, knight b3, a4. Quite a lot of interesting lines. Actually, ask Shellingford if he's still in the chat. He's an expert in that. Yeah, I'm usually trying to avoid here. Okay, back to the game. I burned 1.5 minutes not even thinking about the position. That's bad. My plan still remains the same. Move the queen and go e6. The question is where to put the queen. Should I put it on d7 or on d6? Or should I make some other move? Bishop f6, but those look dumb. So queen d6, for example, if bishop f4, bishop e5, take, queen d4, probably takes. Probably that position is quite good for me after rook d8 and e6. So don't really mind bishop f4. After queen d6, does he have any other moves? Knight d4. No, but then I think I play e6 because e d6 runs into queen d4, knight b5, queen d7 also shouldn't be any problems. And I would prefer my queen on d6 than on d7 so that I don't have to think about d6 after e6. So let's make a move. Also, I didn't mention a line with bishop f4, bishop b5 takes f4. I know that I butchered the arrows, but you'll forgive me for that, I hope. And then I go here. Yeah, maybe that makes some more sense for white to play like that. Maybe I should change my plan. I can go. There are interesting moves. There's also e5 because takes is never a problem, so he would retreat the bishop, and then I can go f5, play some kind of a King's Indian style, but I don't really believe in it with my pieces like being placed like this. But I can go queen d7 back maybe, even though then I'll have to worry about d6. But for example, if you can imagine queen d7, e6 next move, d6, it will run into e5 and rook d8, and this should fall. So yeah, maybe I should just retreat the queen. But we'll deal with it when the time comes. b3 against the French weapon, pretty fun opening. Well, I mean, I've played it over the board in a classical game, and I was winning quite quickly with it. But I can't really suggest it as a full-time repertoire. You can play it in 1 or 2 games, but you can't really make a repertoire out of it. And also Magnus Carlsen crushed me 2 or 3 times with it, with white. So surely it can't be bad. French players just explode themselves if you play knight d2 and go for the Kortsna gambit or f4. I mean, if they play knight f6 after knight d2, you should be happy, because then, okay, all of these lines with f4 and all of that, they should... I mean, it's hard to play with. To me, at least, because my main opening is the French, and it has been for many years. Now I think I should go for e6. Bishop f4, I can choose between queen d7. I can choose between queen d7 and bishop e5. And probably queen d7 being better. Takes should never be an option because of queen e6. Or even takes is probably fine. e7, rook f7, takes, take on e4. But okay, that I don't want to do. I want to take with the queen. I mean, knight here is pretty strong. You want to learn a lot of theory of knight c3, you don't want to avoid the whole theory, then knight d2 is probably perfect. Knight d2 is probably perfect. You like the Milner-Berry gambit in the advance? Is that advance when they play queen b6, you go bishop d3, cd4, and then you go h4, h5? Is that the thing? Those which I had against Jigalko and someone else in Title Tuesdays recently? Yeah, bishop a5 I don't really feel like playing, because if takes f4 and then d6 and d5 are very possible to happen. So we'll just retreat. And yeah, this, I mean, first of all, this hangs, the e4 pawn hangs. I somehow forgot about that before, but I was just trying to go e5 and capture this pawn in a couple of moves, which is also probably very viable. The knight on c5 is extremely strong in this structure. My opponent will probably play something like rook d1. Trying to claim that after takes rook d8, then he'll be able to play d6. and he will have this protected, not protected, but passed pawn. But then again, I will also have quite a lot of interesting ideas here. My pieces are more active. Get a lot of very promising positions from 5f4. Yeah, they're very complex. What to do after 3c5. You looked yesterday with this modern advanced gambit line, you liked it but haven't tried it. I mean, you should just play, every time you're learning a new opening or trying to improve your repertoire. In my eyes, you should always play quite a lot of training blitz games online. Best would be against someone you know, but also against random people is fine. And then I'll analyze those games, get yourself introduced with the new structures, see what you have done wrong, see which motives exist there. So, yeah, I think that's the way to go. Okay, my opponent goes knight c3. So ed5 is probably very normal. Rook d8. I'm not sure where I need the rooks. Do I need this rook on e8 or this one on c8? Maybe I should start with this so that I have bishop c3 in the air. Kind of like that. I have bishop c3 and knight e4 in the air with d5. I'll have to speed up a bit. You see why. The traditional Miller Bravo is castles after cd4. It's been a while since you looked at it. People are probably trying out new stuff. Yeah, I mean, the stuff Shigalko played against me on the last Title Tuesday, you can find it to the database. It's not the last Title Tuesday, it's been some 2 weeks ago or so. I mean, the game is on my YouTube too, but those things are interesting for white, surely. It's hard to play for black, no matter that I won the game or that I know how to react against that. Okay, bishop b1, now at least the bishop is a bit further away. I should probably take this sooner or later. And I will take it now. Sack the pawn on d5? d4, yeah. Yeah, sack the pawn on d4. Okay. This I haven't expected. My opponent takes with the knight. Probably makes sense. Can't go knight e4. The threat is rook c5 followed by knight f6. Don't really want to take the knight on d5. Maybe I should, but I don't really want to. Now I don't need this rook anymore. On c8. I can put it on d8. And I have to think about bishop c7 and all kinds of moves. Queen e6 might be good because I just want to take. I'm getting away from the threats and I want to take e4. Kind of like that one. I can go knight c7, but then probably just queen e7 back. If I go here first, then maybe bishop g5 can be a problem. I'm unsure whether it's a problem or not, but I don't want to burn that much time. Soon it will be a wild time scramble again. So let's go queen e6. My openings are impressive. I can play so many different openings. I mean, I know quite a lot about most openings and the structures because I've tried basically every single opening over the board and prepared it and looked at it at some point. And it's quite good. For example, when you're a coach, you can. It's way easier to. It's way easier when you're a coach and you know everything. I mean, not you know everything, but you know quite a lot about all different openings. It's easier because you can easily readjust students and understand their needs, and you can help them more. So being a wholesome player, not wholesome, that's the wrong word. Being what's the word? Complete player. That's the word I was looking for. Being a complete player isn't easy, but yeah, I'm trying to do that. Still, there is a difference when I'm playing this stuff, then I have to think more, then I have to spend more time, I have to understand strategies, because I know less than, for example, about the French. About the French I can usually blitz out 10 different moves, not 10 different moves, 10 different lines up to move 15 or so. But yeah. Tal had interesting games in that gambit. Tal has interesting games in all the gambits. Yeah, complete is the word I was looking for. Thanks, guys. Being a French player must be a pain. Come on, don't you remember that title Tuesday where I crushed Nepo in the French? Or where I crushed Duda and okay, he got away with a draw in time trouble, but that's not the point. Or that game against Firouzja, which I lost and I was winning in 15 moves in the French. Even over the board, I was winning against Adams very 20 moves strategically. I outplayed him completely, and then I lost because dumb. Schelling is also trolling both me and himself. Guess I should respond with the normal. Guess I should respond with the troll emote. Do I offer coaching? I coach people who are rated above 2000 FIDE. I'm specialized in coaching stronger players and not beginners. This is interesting. Rook e1. What's happening after this? Now I have to calculate stuff. Knight e4. If rook e4, then that's bad. Bishop e4. Rook c1. If queen c1, bishop d5, that's fine. If rook c1, bishop queen e4, also fine. So only problem is takes here. If I take with the rook, then he can take bishop e4, that would be bad. So I have to take on d2. Then there is maybe rook f8 takes. Rook e6 takes. This is here. I don't really see a refutation of it, but somehow sketchy to play. Let me see other moves. What happens if I go rook d8 trying to simply take? Or even rook c d8. I'll go probably bishop g5. Okay, that's fine. Maybe he'll go rook d1. No, he'll go rook d1. I want to take on e4, but I don't want to blunder away the game or something. I don't see clear refutation of it too. Getting in time trouble. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's see. Will I make an exception of 1800? I mean, technically I can. The most important thing for the students, for my students, is that they actually want to work hard. Because if they want to work hard, everything will be good. They want to improve if they actually care. Hopefully I haven't blundered anything. Wait, bishop e4? Did I blunder something? I don't think I did. Maybe bishop f3, I didn't see that move. Oh no. This could be a big problem. I haven't seen that move. Just after... But okay, queen f5 should hold things together, I hope at least. Because if g4 there is queen d3. At least I hope so. There might also be rook c8 first after bishop f3, but don't think I want to put the rook here, it could come under attack later on. Yeah, cheers C complex. Yeah, why do I not love coaching beginners? I mean, coaching, I'm specialized. First of all, I'm specialized in coaching. You can also see it from my streams. They're usually more instructive, aimed at the audience who is more takes. Okay, now I'm very happy. Now this is hanging. Now it's a pawn. Surprised with these decisions. But yeah, and secondly, it's also useful for me when I work with people. I also have to think when I'm working with my, for example, 2250 students or even 2100 students. I always also have to think, and it's not really a waste of time for me. And when I'm coaching beginners, it's a waste of time for me, for my chess. And I still think I can improve in chess, even though I've dropped from 2600 to 2550 or 2560 now. Still think I can improve in chess quite a lot. If I just can parry my health problems a bit better and choose openings choose tournaments with better conditions. Be smarter. Anyway, now we're going to a wild time, not wild maybe, but a time scramble. It's not that wild because the position is relatively simple. But considering I am a full pawn up, don't see a reason to complain. I mean, maybe I should create a loft for my king. He would probably go here then. Okay, I do have some ideas. Okay, he also creates a loft first. Let me go here. I want to go rook c8. Do I think Stepan Tomic will make it to 2200? I mean, I don't really know him personally well, even though we played for the same team in the Creation League some time ago. Rook c8 here. Rook c2. I mean, I kind of like it. Let's go for it. If you remember, oh, it goes queen e4. Didn't expect that. It's probably wise. Let me try to push my passed pawns down the board. Why not? Choose openings with better conditions and be smarter. The best advice to any Benoni player. Yeah, my lapsus linguae is being used for jokes. Let me go here. Even though maybe I need the rook on the c file more than I need it on the e file, but okay, we will see. Let's go a5. I don't see a reason why not. Queen b7 and then try to go b4 maybe. I'm not sure if I want b4. Maybe I want bishop f8 to attack the pawn first, and maybe a4 to do this. Oh, didn't see this. This could be a problem. Wait, now let me think about this. b4. If rook b6, queen c7, a b4, I have rook e3. It should work, and if this, I can take with the queen. Maybe I'm playing a 2-4 single line. Yeah, I'm probably playing a 2-4 single line. Okay. This is a threat. Sorry for ignoring the chat, but I wanna try to win this. It's not very often that I outplay someone in the Greenfeld, even though that's because I almost never play the Greenfeld. Can I go bishop d4? Takes, there is this. If I can, that's game over. No, there is rook g6. It's not blunder stuff. This is not a move I wanted to play at all. But time trouble. This is where time trouble becomes real, and it might cost me the game. I had the win there surely somewhere, but I don't know where. And what was it? Can I go for the pawn? I will try. Now this h5, the Luft for the king, comes very handy. Bishop c1 doesn't work. Bishop c5. And I can probably push. Okay, check, go away. This pawn I think I care way less about than the a3 pawn. Can I push? Rook c7, rook c3. Otherwise rook e3 is spread. Bishop d4 is not in time. Rook c7, rook c3 takes, king e2. I don't know if that's winning or not. Maybe I should just retreat. It's probably wiser to retreat. After rook c7, just go rook a2, I think. Cut the king off and push the pawn down the board. I think this is best, and just push these two pawns. They remind me of the Nepo thing last game. There might be a problem though, because I can't go forward. I forgot about that. Okay, this is a big problem. I will repeat to just get some time. And now I need to think, because bishop d4 remains a threat. I go c2, bishop d4, c1 queen, that's good because I will get the bishop. c2, king e1. Okay, I have to play for a win. This is the only way, as far as I see. Can I push a4? No, but king d2 will come. How did I manage to screw up this endgame? This was so winning for me. Can I go king up? Bishop d4, king e6. No, bishop g7 he will take. Unbelievable. Unreal. I don't believe that I screwed up this game. This is extremely annoying. This is extremely annoying. Okay, you wanted the neither. Did I say Hikaru hit 3400? Yeah, I did. Main line queen b6 is just as bad. How did I not win that game? I don't know, I think Hanging Pawns has a huge problem of not playing for a win in every single game. h3 or bishop g5 you guys wanted. Let's go bishop g5. Okay, see complex lapsus lane wave is... you say so. Yeah, once you turn 20 you blunder everything. Yeah, sure, Ingo, you wanted to go swimming. Don't watch this. This is horrible. If you want to contact me about coaching, you can. I mean, there is... I mean, I suppose you can text me on Messenger, or you can text me on direct message on Twitch. Maybe better. Was difficult? No, actually it wasn't difficult, I think. Eager move where bishop a6 with my king there. Bishop meant h6, but I was pinned, so I could not have done that. I want to play something where there is no theory. I want to keep it sharp, but without countless theoretical lines after queen f3. Is there a way to do that? Probably not. So, okay. Alright, I want to play something where there is no theory right after walking into bishop g5. Come on. Even without theory, can still be a fun thing to play. Because the position remains double-edged. How did I not win that last game? It's horrible. Should lose my GM title because of that. What's my FIDE rating? Now it's 2561. It used to be way higher, but bad things happened to it. Okay, let's take and go h4. No, wait, Ingo, that was the only winning move? Isn't the endgame itself quite winning? I would be very surprised if it wasn't, but I've been very surprised before. If I remember correctly, this is Anish Giri's course in the Neither suggestion for black. Stuck with knight b6 after takes. Now there, all three moves are possible. I somehow was usually in favor of rook d2. So let's play it here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be hard on myself. I'll need to analyze the games, but there was a clean pawn up there. There was a clean pawn up for half of the game. When I'm not kind to yourself, who else will be? That's a good question. Except shelling? Yeah, not even shelling. 2561, you're a top player? No, that's like number 300 in the world or so. It's far from a top player. Is 2561 a prime number or not? You have 10 seconds. That's a good question. Might actually be. 14. No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It should be divided. It should be divisible with 7 or something. Maybe I'm wrong though. Okay, so now there are several interesting ideas. I know that the idea with g8 rook h6 h5 is usually relatively dangerous. But also queen d3 forcing king e7 makes usually quite a lot of sense. Okay, first of all, let's start by finishing our development. I think this is all still theory, by the way, even though I said I want to play something non-theoretical. But I could be wrong, considering I haven't looked at this in some time. Seven's what tripped you up? I mean, I don't really remember all the rules for division with 7, even though there is one. 13 times 197, obviously. 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 People base their chess self-imagine on these numbers all the time, or 1650 or something. Maybe I should stop playing. If you play for enjoyment, you will improve and rating will follow, probably. Yeah, very good explanation and all of that. So now if I double the rooks on the d file, then he will play bishop c6. And then I might follow with queen g4. Or queen g3, maybe better to stop all kinds of queen e3s in the future and to support f5. I mean, yeah, let's see where that will bring me. I mean, I don't have that much experience in this line. I do know some of the ideas there. Sometimes they go knight e4 with white to get rid of this knight, and then after takes, they're hoping that I've expanded for too much. Is FG a move here? Probably not. FG is more ambitious for sure. If queen e5 takes 6, I exchange everything. Yeah, the game is probably somewhat better for me, I'm not sure. Because he'll have f5. Maybe it's not better for me, maybe it's better for him because of the central pawns. But if I take with the h-pawn, he'll probably go g6 or something. Has a nice... he has a relatively nice structure. It's hard for me to break through with either e5 or f5. But I don't really want to give up the e5 square, so let's take like this. When did I start being able to recall positions from games I played clearly? I mean, I think people usually remember their games quite well. Don't really know when it comes. Something doesn't hurt you, it makes you stronger. If you do something for enjoyment, you will not get better. Okay, C-complex and Dingo, you can do that. You can try and tell me. You always thought you can never learn this, but last year I began to notice that you can, so you can too. I don't know, I think it comes with practice, just, even Blitz Rapid games? Yeah, even Blitz Rapid games. For me, at least. Okay, so several plans here. One is b3, king b2 to restrict this knight and make it a bad piece here on b6. I don't know if rook d4 makes any sense. Or a3. Rook d4 stops knight a4, and also it has some additional interesting ideas in the air. But rook d4, maybe he can go e5. There I'm not that happy. Can play a move like this with the same idea, then I would probably force knight c4, knight a4, but I don't think he minds that all that much. It's probably still theory. My opponent, being a well-known theoretician, is surely someone who knows what he's doing there. Yeah, he does have the h file, no matter the weakness on d6. So if you go b3, even some rook h7s could happen. I go like king b2, he doubles the rooks, and then I can't take on d6. Can't take on d6 because of rook h3. No, rook h3 or rook d8. King c7. Okay, never mind that. This is the problem with today's chess. It just your opponent blitzes out 20 moves of theory, and you need to think with your head. And then you get into time trouble quite often. I know that I'm silent, I'm just trying to think about the position. You might have d5 in the air too, because after e5 there is d4. Okay, then. Let's create a threat with b4. And still play a move like d5 maybe, but then at least if I go b4, he retreats the queen's tower. You go e5. Or maybe I should reverse the move order. Play e5 first and then after d4. No, then I hang this stuff. So this was my original idea with d5, but then maybe he has a5. And there is a problem on the long diagonal again. Maybe he should play d5. I mean, if the worst comes to worst, I can take on d5, and it's not that bad, but it was not my original idea anyway. What's going on in the chat? Classical game over the board. When you play some casual games with friends, you have trouble immediately after. If you have that much time, it might be easier to remember. Yeah, it depends on how much time you have in a classical game, it's different. You watched a YouTube video last year and went downstairs with wireless headset and could follow the moves in my head just by hearing them. It was very mind-blowing for me. Yeah, sure, it comes with time. If it's not theory, he's making it so. Okay, a3 obviously he has never seen before. Maybe something can happen, as you guys said. Sometimes you blitz out 20 moves of theory and then you screw up in a move or two. So he might play some king b8, make me very happy, and then I would go b4. Very interesting. Guess this is how it all started. Hearing move suggestions during games, playing perfect openings, having no blunders early on. Yeah, the trollings are here. The Kramnik mode with the magnifying glass. Okay, considering Nightbot doesn't let you post the link, I will post the link from which Ingo wanted to that. Pozdrav Krodeni, jučer prvi put vidio tvoj stream, ali si taman završavao, svratio sam tvoj YouTube, pogledaj neki zadnji video, dugo se nisam tako nasmijao. Da. Eto, hvala lijepo na pozitivnom feedbacku. Ja tu i tamo streamam, pa eto. Ako vas zanima šah, uvijek možete pogledati nešto naučiti, ali ipak s obzirom da nema puno gledatelja na hrvatskom. Kad streamam na hrvatskom, onda sam odlučio da ipak bude na engleskom, ali mislim nije problem. Eto. And guys, sorry about the Croatian, but if I get a message on Croatian, I have to respond in Croatian accordingly. Yeah. So my opponent does go d5. It's probably best. Because, yeah, the lines which were my original plans don't seem to be that great. Both d5 line and the b4 first line, even though I maybe can improve the line on the lines a bit. After queen e7, maybe I can go queen e3. That hasn't occurred to me before. Maybe it's good. Because also, the idea is that if you play some move like king c7, I can maybe take all of this 20 times. And then the e7 queen will be hanging in the end. e4 is very risky too, but it might be good. Can also go queen d6, but then at least he walks into a pin. I don't know, but let's make a move. Can't really burn all 15 minutes in the opening. If it was a classical game, I'd be able to, considering it's rapid, not really. I think queen e3 is good. I liked this immediately when I saw it. d4, now I can of course take. And yeah, the knight is hanging. I can play a move like queen c7, that may be best. But at least then I can go the c5 move, which... And I'm not sure if it's that great. Again, he should play queen c7, I think. Yeah, e5, and then if I go e5, everything is blocked, and he does have the h file, and this will be weak. Even though his bishop is worse than mine. Actually, I don't know what the position is like, but I'm kind of afraid when he doubles the rooks on the h file, so maybe I should just take here. Though it wasn't my original idea. If he takes with the knight, it's probably not that bad for me. If he takes with the bishop, maybe queen c5 is a move. Okay, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Yeah, you heard the problem at the end there. Okay, C-Complex trolling us again. Well, my GM opponent doesn't surprise me with a bad move, but instead plays what I think is the best move. And surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, e5, I don't know if that's good or bad strategically. I honestly have no idea. You can imagine it being very good if the knight comes to d4, and you can imagine it being very bad if he goes rook h4, rook h8. Makes all of these moves. ed5, he might take ed actually. Then trying to go rook h4 and attack f4 that way. Moving pawns in front of your king like this b4 stuff is always risky. You have to play something. Yeah, really, is e5 good or not? Ah, wait, there is one cute idea which I haven't seen before. Could be a game changer. If he moves the rook anywhere on the h file, I can go knight e4 because of the pin, and then the knight is going to come to visit my opponent's king. Could change my perspective on this. So then he has to spend one more move on rook d7 or something. I'm still not convinced that it's strategically right for me to play that way. Yeah, ed, maybe actually ed5 is a problem, and I don't really want to open things up because my king is less safe than his. Okay, let's make a move. I only have 5 minutes. He has done. Almost fluent in Croatian. Almost. How do I decide when to step on the brakes and over the board game and simplify into a draw? Well, when I decide that it's not worth playing for a win that I can lose. Okay, my opponent goes there. Now king b2 is very logical to improve the position of my king a bit. And also after rook c8 that this is not under attack anymore. I really want the knight on d4. I move the king here, then I can't do it because knight a4 will be a check. Maybe I'm just getting outplayed here. But okay, king b2, rook c8, maybe I can go rook a1. Might seem dumb, but I want to play a4, a5. What's the alternative? Bishop f3 or something? No, then knight c4, I can't do that. Insane. Bishop d3, he goes d4. Okay, I have to get rid of this knight, probably. I'm so scared that some knight c4 is going to happen, I have to say. So scared. Yeah, breaks. That's the right pronunciation. C Complex is in a big trolling mode today. Well, same as any other day. So yeah, I could play in the next moves maybe queen to d4, but I don't really want to allow rook h3 if I don't have to. So rook a1 maybe is my next move with a4, a5. I'll need to play quickly. I also have to admit that I'm very curious to check this game briefly. But I will not do it yet. Still unbelievably. Still I'm like amazed that I didn't win that game. I think I played relatively well in both the games thus far. Rook c8 as expected. Probably rook a1 is the move now. He might play bishop a4 there. Which I don't really want to see. Bishop a4 and then what? With every move I like my position less and less. Can I go queen c5? It allows rook h3, but what to do? Queen c5, knight d7, either queen a5 or getting outplayed here big time. Okay, let him play bishop a4, I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't see a better option at this point. Honestly, have no clue how I'm going to get rid of this grip after bishop a4. But at least then there is no more knight a4. Iceland Cup? Yeah, this is the cup I have today. Iceland is by far the country I like the most out of all the countries which I've visited in my chess journeys. Yeah, C complex, go ahead. Troll as much as you want. Only Ingo and C complex are left in the chat trolling. All the other guys have gone away. Or maybe they're just silently watching and ignoring the trolls. That would be smart. If he allows a4, then suddenly I think I'll be relatively happy. Because then I'll get in a5 and this knight will go away. And this is, for example, the strategy in this line is risky when you overextend here. That in some endgame, these pawns could be targeted. Of course, the advantage is that you have more space. And yeah. The line objectively holds for black. I didn't want to play this theoretical line. But what to do? You guys are very smart. Schelling is in a state of silent admiration to what? By the way, Schelling, what's with the German Team Cup? Who will play, who will not play, will we even play? And hello to Silent Admiration. No, to Adrian. Okay, sorry about that. I'm a bit tired. So yeah, who says also Silent Admiration for sure. Not much to be admired in my position, unfortunately. It's just not very good. You always have to be triple careful when pushing pawns in front of your king. It's what I always say to my students, for example, don't push the pawns in front of your king if you don't have to. But here at first it seemed good, but in the end it just feels like a weakness. Yeah, okay, Schelling, I might also ask him directly. Yeah. I'm a bit tempted to play the Greenfeld again in the next game, considering that I had a great position. But yeah, considering that the Semislav was the suggestion from the chat, I will play the Semislav. Or the Vienna with d5. Should d7? Really now? So what's the point? Is the point a4, queen c3, knight a4 check? Because after rook a4, rook c3. Huh, what an interesting position. And tactics. a4 actually work. Okay, 6 rook c2. Probably it works. So maybe this is even better than than bishop a4 would have been. Why is my opponent so good? Why is my opponent so good, chat? Still have to go for this, I think. The other moves feel worse. Don't push pawns in front of your king. Now we're going to study the main lines of the king's Indian defense. Okay. It's different when you're... Okay, it always depends on how close the pieces are to the king. But the opponent's pieces are to the king. But, yeah, in general, you should always be triple careful when pushing pawns in front of your king. Even though I pushed one now. There are other ideas, of course, for my opponent, like queen c4s or some other moves, but I think I should be able to parry it with rook d4 or something. Or even queen d4. Yeah, I'm most worried about queen c3. Let's pre-move that. And hello to Arsenal Funridge. Congratulations on your title finish recently. Was that... Which title Tuesday are you talking about? The one which I raged on or the one which I raged on? If I could play something for my entire life, I would play d4 surely, because after e4, e5, everything has been so well analyzed and so deeply prepared, and while d4, for example, you can imagine Catalans and some other sidelines where you can play in 10 different ways, and even though it's all equal, it's not. There is way more play, I feel like, than in e4, e5s. That's my personal opinion, of course. Some people would prefer e4. And hello to Inhamase. Tunisia, who is the opponent? I mean, he's a grandmaster. And while I do have his permission to stream the match, I don't have the permission to say his name. Because he doesn't want people to know it's his account. And so that people can see what he's playing. Because he ate his Wheaties. Starts with an I? Actually, it doesn't start with an I. Gracias a ti. What's their actual rating? They're a stronger player than me, as the score suggests. There's also that Karpov-Kasparov game where Karpov plays bishop b2 knight and goes for that crazy g4 plan. And yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's good, but it's always going to give counter chances to your opponent, and always you need to be extra careful. Any rook h2 ideas in the position? Lots of. My opponent's thinking about that for sure too. But actually, wait. I did just say that. I didn't think that was so dangerous. Now when I look at it, it might even be the most testing idea. Probably the one I raged on. Yeah. Raging Tuesdays. I always get so upset when candidate masters play perfect games against me. And then I come against super GMs and I win like 3 or 4 in a row. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll keep on playing Title Tuesdays. I said that I probably won't, and I probably won't. But sometimes you guys want to watch them. I'm not sure. Can also play 2 knight c3 and get an e4 flavor position. Yeah, 2 knight c3 depends on what they do. The one I finished with better score. Yeah. And I had a 8.5 and I had a huge chance there. I was 10th in the end. I had a huge chance because I had 7 out of 8 and the endgame with the rook up basically, and I blundered that rook against another GM. Am I sure Ivan? It's not Ivan Šarić. It's not Ivan Šarić. So yeah, this is the line which I was talking about, and now I intended rook a6. Why? So, because if takes, there is of course this, and if he goes for rook c2, I will take king c2, ba6, bishop takes a6, and now after rook h4, I think I can defend with one of these moves, and don't think it's that bad. So if I'm missing something, let it be, but I don't think I am. Maybe he's going to make a move like... maybe he's going to make a move like this. Rook g3, trying to go rook h2 and rook g2 to exploit this pin. No, he goes rook e3. Yeah, then he wants to exploit the pin immediately. I did see that, by the way. That's why it burned quite a lot of time. I intended rook d6. And even though that rook will be quite stuck here and maybe stupid at first sight, still, I don't think I have another choice. Maybe I do with rook a3, rook e4 then. No, that's bad. I need to play this because it's a tempo move. And see what happens. I have no idea if this is good for me or just dead lost, but I don't see options at this point. Just don't see any other options. Yeah, except when it's good. That's right, Mehibar. Understandable. Do I think Magnus can get to 3500 blitz if he farms like Hikaru? He can surely go higher than Hikaru, in my opinion, at least. But props to Hikaru for achieving it. And hello, Lilaquid, I hope you're doing great. Welcome to my modest small channel. You guys can follow Lila if you want. She's way better and more popular streamer than me. Still looks difficult endgame for white. It's probably a loss for me. I don't really enjoy farming, but you don't really achieve anything with farming. You don't really improve your chess, I think. Well, I'm also good. I'm playing against another GM, training rapid match. They have a horrible position as far as you can see. Okay, what to do now? Rook h2 is not a threat yet because of rook d7. But rook e4 is a threat. So maybe some bishop d3 move. Before I lose on time, I need to make a choice. Now I did allow this move, rook f3, but I intended to go c4, and then if dc4 I have this with some threats. And if rook f4, well, at least I will open things up with td5, rook b4, king c3. And yeah, some threats will happen. I'm probably lost in several ways here, but I need to make counter chances, or at least try to make counter chances. Hello, Matt Slayer. I won't say his current FIDE elo because you would know who that is, but his peak was 2670, I think. No, I mean, Hikaru's level is surely about around 3300, I think. Like, same as... okay, my top rating on chess.com is like 30 or so. And my lowest in some time was... my lowest rating in some time was 2810 or so. And I think my strength is about 2900 or 2910. Objective strength. So same as for Hikaru, he's been up to 3400, he's been down to 3150, so his normal strength should be somewhere in between, in my eyes. Yeah, exactly, there is some inflation for people who play more. Okay, let me focus on the time scramble now. Let's go king c3 to hit the rook. I don't know if rook b6, there are some ideas with d6 also. Oh, he goes for this one. This one didn't occur to me. Hasn't occurred to me. So if I take, and he takes, I take g6. His idea is to go rook c4. King d3. Doesn't look that bad, rook d3 check. I mean, another problem is that I don't see any other options at this point, except going all in. If I'm wrong, I might lose the game on the spot, but actually, yeah, it does have a win, which I didn't see. That was lost anyway. I was lost anyway. He has this stuff. Has this stuff. It's actually a very forced line, so it's easy to calculate. He did deserve to win this one. We have to say that. I won't resign it, of course, but not much I can do. He played better than me, and I wasn't familiar with the Nidor structure that much. So now I can blame the chat because they chose the Nidor. Hello, Drunk Chess. If I play 1000s of games, you can get significant refunds for cheated games, already gaining points. Yeah, that's very true. I very often get notifications. Your opponent has cheated. Get the rating back. I don't know what their levels are. Probably most of them would have high ratings if they farmed like Hikaru is farming. Now I'm just waiting to get checkmated. What's the most resilient here? Yeah, just not too much I can do, unfortunately. Let me go king g3 and king h3. Now at least to give me another check he needs to move the bishop, and then the bishop will be under attack next move. Let's see where the win is for him. 2500 plus ratings have inflated lately? Yeah, probably. Okay, so he wants to checkmate me. Makes a lot of sense. Let's see if I have some good options in store. Check, king a7, check, back, king b5, and I lose. Great. And I'm gonna have to play rook h6 then, probably. Okay, let's give a check first. Now, of course, he can take a pawn. Maybe there were some better moves for him too. But this is probably going to get the job done for him relatively easily. Maybe just checking rook b1 is best. He goes rook e5. Which is probably more than enough to win the game. Yeah, it's just a little too late. Can't play without a piece. Can't play without a piece. I have no idea what. Probably Nakamura is somewhat stronger, but not that much. Alvarez a few years ago was very close, possibly. Should probably resign. Who knows what would have happened if Alireza kept playing? Who knows? Probably go straight down anyways. Very likely. Not very likely, very possibly. Just, I don't know. Yeah, just not much I can do there. I did deserve to lose this one. Okay, time for the Semislav, which was... No, actually, did you want the Semislav or did you want the Vienna with b5? Of course, if he plays the Catalan, then I will be able to do neither one, but... Which one did you want, chat? Take and b5, or do you want c6? He took chess seriously for most of his life. For a6 I played in the last match, you can find it on YouTube. I'm trying to switch openings. c6 is getting more Vienna. Yeah. Okay, but you were the one who asked. You were the one, Maybara, who wanted the first. Who asked the first, and people usually. And considering you were first, you get what you wanted. And c6 you will get in the next match. Don't worry. Like there will be more matches against the same opponent, and there will be Semislavs. h4. Okay, the Vienna, and you want this one, right? Not bishop b4. Hello to Kraken Gaming. Hey, wanna play me? Sorry, I'm not playing against the viewers. I'm playing against another GM. Okay, b5. Also, a line I don't have that much experience in. I never played toward the board. I only played bishop b4. Bishop b4 line. Knight b5. If I remember correctly, they usually go Knight b6. I did play one game with white, actually 2 games with white. One was against Jules Moussard, and another was against someone from Hungary, I feel like. An international master, that was a long time ago. So yeah, the line goes something like this with bishop b7. Bishop b3. If I remember correctly, the most dangerous is supposed to be that queen d2, queen f4, queen g4 line against this. The bishop e3 line is usually not considered that dangerous, but of course it has a clear strategic idea too. What are the styles of Magnus, Hikaru, and Alireza and Blitz? I mean, I'm pretty sure you know yourself. Firouzja has the most aggressive one, Nakamura in the middle, Carlsen the most positional. Why are we talking so much about other players here and not about our own games? It always feels like we're talking about someone else. My idea is not to admire them, but to beat them. Okay, so he retreats the knight to c3. That's interesting. So usually the bishop comes to b7 in these lines on the long diagonal. It's probably the best here too. And then usually you follow up with knight b4 and try to go either here or here and then break through with c5 in the future. That's the whole strategy of this line. And why don't go knight b4 first is because then knight d2 would attack this pawn, and now after knight d2 I can take on d4. My favorite openings against everything, well, you know them. What I play in Title Tuesday. The French against d4. Against d4 the King's Indian. Even though I can play everything. Against c4, knight f3, basically same thing, the King's Indian setups. Yeah, this is theory. This is theory. I think it's still theory, but bishop e3 is not considered to be the most dangerous try. If you play a4 to stop b5, then the problem is they can play knight c6 and knight a5, and then protect the c4 pawn. And another problem is they can go bishop b4 and stop you from going e4 in that way, because then they can take e4. So I don't think you should play a4 in that position. You should play e4 or e3 if you like more positional setups, but don't play a4. Yeah. Against h4, g3, f3, and a4. Very interesting. Seem to like the position for white. Usually white is considered to be slightly better in all of these lines, but still the position is very playable for black. And there are strategical dangers for both sides. So now if I go knight e5 and try to go here, he will go knight d2 and probably try to exchange these bishops. How do I play it? Probably with queen d7. Usually that's like the plan with queen d7, then you put the rook here. Maybe in the future try to go c5 or even f6, because you can imagine the position with rook d8 coming and then f6 takes and the d4 pawn being weak. Now when I look at it, maybe this was not the smartest way of playing. Need to choose a plan. Maybe queen d7 was a waste of time and I was supposed to go knight a5 and c5 immediately. I mean, I feel like playing f5, but it's probably not very good. f5, ef6, bishop f6, rook a d1. I feel like playing it, but I'm pretty sure it's not very good. So what are the alternatives? Yeah, again knight a5 followed by c5, but now my queen is a bit uncomfortable here on d7, because after c5 he will always be able to take. That's why I'm not sure. Maybe I played this move too quickly and didn't spend much time thinking. I mean, it's the friendly advice I'm giving you. a4 is not a great move. I think Fedoseev doesn't have... He gets lost positions very often. And hello to Sicknate. Or Cisnate, I don't know how to pronounce it. Nepo won a very short game in Tata Steel, yeah. What is your obsession with top players? That's a good question. Why would we need to talk about top players? Top players all the time. Our point should be to beat them, not to admire them. Okay, you know what, guys? Let's go. It's not a great move. It's not a great move, but let it be. They are not gods or anything close to that. Tea time. Okay, rook d1, this is all what I expected, and now probably I need the queen on f7 and maybe h5 or g6. I'm not sure if I need it yet. He might try to go knight e4. Knight e4 next move. I mean, I can go knight e7 and try to go knight d5. I'm not sure, maybe I need this knight to attack d4 still. My structure is of course horrible. I'm hoping that my piece play and piece activity will compensate for that. Problem is that after knight e4, this is going to be extremely uncomfortable to deal with. So I probably should go here. Knight e4, queen g6. To have this pin under control. We should talk about how Jabava went from 2640 to 2570. I think it was because of bad habits he had on tournaments. Yeah, they're playing a board game. Who is the most underrated player you have ever played or met? No clue, honestly. Why didn't he go for queenside castle? There are some lines here where you can go for queenside castle, but it's usually when they go queen d2, queen f4, queen g4, and not bishop e3. Here it's, I think, way too dangerous. But when the queen is on g4, then it's more dangerous to castle short, and when you castle long in those positions, that's how the Nepo game went, if I remember correctly. What exactly do I mean by bad habits? I mean, not being 100% focused on chess during tournaments and events, but doing other things. Instead of getting enough sleep, preparing for the games, and so on. And my opponent does this anyway. Intention was queen g6. He can take, but then I can probably take even with the g-pawn, and then this knight's going to be restricted. Yeah, let's see. I should not allow knight c5, I'm pretty sure. Okay, rook d2. This move escaped me for some reason. The opponent's trying to go here now again. And he protected his queen, and then not in time with knight b4 because this is a check. Problems. Problems. Maybe I should move this knight to some square like a5 or e7. For example, knight a5, also this pawn will be protected then. So even if he does go knight c5, and for example we trade the queens off, I go bishop d5 to protect this one. I'm not sure how bad that is for me. Also knight e7 with a similar idea is probably relatively playable. Knight coming to e5, but on a5, I go to a5, at least the knight will be protecting the c4 pawn. Alternatively, maybe I can go bishop e7. Knight c5 takes, but yeah, then I will have to take like this, and the c4 pawn will hang, so Yeah, probably knight e5, but I don't really like my position. Still, the whole line is not to be liked quite a lot. Yeah, when the knight comes to c5, it's still going to be relatively uncomfortable. Okay, so which GM pop is underrated? There are two. One is GM Misha Pop from Serbia, and another one is GM Pop Gyula from Hungary. And both have dropped from 25 something to 2400s in the past time. Yeah, I'm protecting all the pawns now, and even though I have everything covered, my pawn structure is worse, and the knight on c5 is very strong. I'll probably need to search for counterplay here on the b2 pawn. Maybe get rid of this knight first, and then go knight a4. So yeah, it's not like I'm lost or anything, but just don't like my position. How do you know that he did other things? Did you see firsthand? I mean, that's what I think he was saying, and also other people told me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe the chat will know better. Flay their back. Position is definitely not something I'm very happy with. We have quite a lot of viewers. As far as I can see, that's surprising. To me, at least. From Hungary, used to mod for him a while ago? Yeah. Well, as far as I know, he has decided to do other things like coaching and similar things, and because of that, he's not. He doesn't care about rating anymore. So he's playing in various open events where he's playing underrated players and often losing points. Huh. 95. Am I single? Yeah, I'm single. That will probably not interest the viewers. But yeah, I'm single. It did turn into an interview. Okay, how to deal with 95? There is no actual. There isn't any actual threat yet, as far as I can see. But it's an improvement move, and if I take the bishop, will be opened up. Can't go rook b8, unfortunately. There is knight d7 fork. Nasty fork. Even though that's a trap, but it might also be an opportunity. Takes, bishop e4. Let's see this. Rook b8. Sometimes when something is a trap, it's also an opportunity. Bishop e4. If he takes some rook, I take c2, that's good. It goes here. Knight b3. Yeah, I don't like it. It's not really an opportunity here. Probably move like rook d8 is then something normal. There might be bishop g4 ideas too, because this pawn could be weak in the short run. They can't really get rid of this knight in any normal means. At least not yet. What happens if I go knight b3 if I make a threat of knight c5 and bishop e5? If knight d7, I go rook d8 probably, and it seems relatively okay. And if takes c7, Knight c4. It does feel like I'm getting some counterplay. So maybe I should supposed to go knight b3 actually. Force his hand. If he takes knight c4, bishop c4, bishop c4, knight c4, rook c4. Yeah, I actually don't have anything. I can't do that. Pawn needs to be protected. Can take, and then go knight b3, but then I didn't create a threat. Okay, let's make a move. I burned quite a lot of time. Yeah, 50 plus viewers average is pretty good, considering I usually have 10 to 20. But of course, when things are more instructive, like yesterday, today, and when I'm streaming instructive things, of course, more people will watch because it's instructive. And if I play Enrage on Titled Tuesdays or play Bullet, then it's usually more for fun, and you can't really learn things. So it's more logical. How is it possible that someone so handsome, smart, and charismatic is single? Does that mean that us average guys are doomed? Come on, you're giving me compliments for no reason, which aren't that true. It's very unlikely that I'm charismatic and handsome and definitely not, and smart. That's debatable also. And you are not average, guys. Come on, everyone's special in their own way. But being single is mostly my choice. It's mostly my choice, and not the girl's choice. That this young man is not spoken for? What a shame that I'm interested in women only. Yeah, the chat has turned into very interesting. Hello, what is all? No, I'm not playing against the viewers, I'm playing against a fellow grandmaster. Playing a competitive match. And I'm not doing well. Maybe now he wants also this bishop g4 stuff. So what if I go knight b3 again? Something changed. Probably it has. I still don't like my position there. Can I take and then go knight b3? I mean, that I always can, but now at least it's a bit better. Better than it was before. Okay, I have to make moves before I lose on time. At least this has a strategical idea. The stuff with knight b3. Not sure if it will work out, but yeah. Can we get back to talking about top GMs then? It's way better than talking about my romantic interests in life and life. I'm joking, of course. Let's go for this stuff with knight b3. If he allows me to take and go knight a4, then with c5 I should probably be okay-ish. So the most challenging is probably taking the pawn. But then I go knight a4 as far as I have seen. And then this is hanging. If he goes rook b1, there is bishop e4. If he goes bishop d4, which is probably better, then maybe I have bishop g2, because now when the rook is on the d file, at least I get some counterplay. How to pronounce our names? So the C on the C in my last name is pronounced as CH in English. So Ivan Šarić. Okay, Šarić. So Šarić is SH and CH in the end, but mine is just Levi Ch, and that's basically CH. CH instead of C in the end. That's it. Why not talk about your romantic possibilities with top GMs? Ju and June is a good match. For who? For me? Okay, the chat has gone wild. Chat has gone wild. Oh, hello, Jaron Bateman. There is some chat streamer challenging you in a rapid game. Are you down? I mean, in general, stream collaborations with other streamers, they're not something I've done recently. I could be open for that in the future, of course, if streamers will want to do some collaborations. But today I won't. I mean, as soon as this is the last game, and as soon as it's over, I'm going to analyze quickly, and I'll have to go. So that's a problem. No, the V is not a V. Russian is not is not the same as Croatian. It's completely different. That's only in Cyrillic. So V is not B. Croatian is like different. In Spanish, not Russian? Am I insane then? Maybe I'm insane, who knows. Yeah. While I indeed had some interesting propositions from people about who would be a good match for me, the Juve and June name has not occurred yet. And that's gotta be a new one. You would need to swap the A and I too anyway? Yeah, possibly. Yeah, this b5 Vienna, it feels like if you're playing the b5 Vienna, you really need to know exactly what you're doing. And it's because this game I didn't know exactly what I'm doing, and I immediately got a much worse position, I feel like. And hello to Tatina Chess. I don't have another profession aside from chess. I'm just playing professionally and coaching. I used to not stream, but study chemistry in the past. But then I quit it to get the GM title. And try to play chess professionally. Maybe I'll get back to it. Okay. You two are very similar in terms of personality and ratings, so perfect match. And age and distance, that doesn't matter at all. She played the French exchange against Firouzja and won. The differences are unbridgeable. This is turning into a very interesting stream. Okay, so if let's see, if I take, go knight a4, where's he gonna go? Can probably also play a move like c6 first. Just so that after takes, the c7 pawn is not hanging anymore. Some of these moves, what's that about? Here, takes, knight a4. I also need rook b8 in all of these lines. Okay, let me play c6. No, why did I do that? That was so stupid. I didn't even understand his idea, which is very clever, with knight b7 and knight d6, and then this is going to fall. I had to eliminate the knight no matter what. It was so stupid by me. Hello to Chadwick Pro. What is the color board? She's rich, so she can travel to Croatia, and age is just a number. No, she would never play such a bad move as I just did, allowing knight b7, so... Just any other move would have been better. Takes, knight a4, takes, rook b8. Why did I make that kind of move? It was so bad. It has been also it's also been the same in the past match. The first two games I played quite well, and then suddenly I started playing much worse. And the last match ended 2-2, and this one I'm probably going to lose. Which color board am I using? And you can see that in somewhere here. Of course he sees it, unsurprisingly. Now it's just bad. Oh wait, board team, this one. Can you see that? Can you see it? So this one. No, you can't see it, wait. When you open Lichess, it's right to this one, okay? That board I'm using. So it's called Wood Free. What is my height and weight? Does that really matter? Thanks for the answer, because I heard some champs like John Nunn and Manuel Lasker and many others have other professions. It's probably smarter to have another profession than just playing. This one I should probably take. And there was no way to save the pawn. Anyway. Now I should probably try to play c5 and then knight d4 to at least hope to have some counter chances, even though I'm objectively lost. You drew 2 games with Hikaru, but he beats you 3-10. I'm pretty sure that's an impressive score against him, than that most players have a much worse score. It matters because the FBI is looking for you. Highly unlikely. They know where to find me. Tinder profile? No, I will never use dating apps. I would never use dating apps. You know, I'm not even looking for a relationship. To be perfectly honest. Yeah, right, it's a federal crime. Lying is a federal crime, so you shouldn't give me compliments. Einstein said it was a shame someone with Lasker's skills was playing chess. Had he gone full scientific mode, maybe he would make some science breakthroughs. But he loved chess, so why not to play it? He wasn't bad. One of the best and strongest players who has ever lived. Goes to e1. I mean, I need to dislodge the knight sooner or later, probably via f5. Let's go g6 then, so that I at least create a threat of knight d4, knight f5, because if this happens, then I have quite decent chances for saving this game. We could even head nukes even faster. I mean, none of the discoveries was intended to be harmful for people. Like when people made gunpowder, they didn't intend. They didn't think it would be used to shoot people. And also when people invented nukes, probably also they didn't want to destroy anyone. As the science goes on, and usually the leaders, the government leaders, are the ones who are making decisions, who are making these kind of decisions. Who is the smartest top chess player? I mean, what? Why would you call? What does it mean, smart? Why is someone smart and someone is not? What affects that someone is smart? Okay, my opponent goes b4. Science has been hijacked with evil people with the money. Do I know Mirko Cro Cup? Well, Clean Chess. Don't know him personally, but of course I know who he is. He's been one of the I won't say symbols of Croatia, but one of the most known people in Croatia for a while. Now dislodging the knight with knight f5 would be nice, but it would probably lose the pawn in the process. Maybe I should defend the pawn first. With rook c7. But the position is still dead lost for me, that's the problem. I'm trying to find some defensive idea. You don't really see them. Okay, let's not give up a pawn. If takes rook c3, I have knight e2, so he can't take the pawn on the spot. But surely he will be able to capture it sooner or later. c5 pawn is too weak. Hopefully I can get the a3 pawn in return somehow. Smart equals high IQ. That IQ number is also something I don't really like. Because these IQ tests, you can influence them, can practice for them, similar as with chess and memorization skills. You can influence your chess skills, so you can influence your IQ test skills and get a higher number because of that. They're not really reliable source of information. Let's go rook b8. I want to search for counterplay and sacrifice everything. He should probably play a move like h3 or something very simple to go king h2 next. Good morning, everyone. But if you want to, in my opinion, who and which chess player has the highest IQ, probably Magnus Carlsen. Svidler is pretty smart. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of them are not stupid people. How to improve memorization skills? I don't really know. Sorry that I don't have a good answer to that. Maybe I can go rook b2 now, trying to go knight e2. But he would just go king h2. Do I have some smart way of finding counterplay? Probably not. I'll still try this with knight e2, and when he moves the king away, I suppose I will try. I don't know what I'll try. I'll try to bring this rook on the second rank somehow, but I don't know how. Do I go to the gym? Am I muscular? I mean, I don't really go to the gym, but I play a lot of sports, and I do workouts at home quite a lot. Basically, muscles are all I have, because due to some health problems I can't really gain normal mass. but that's a story for another time. How to activate the rooks? Go rook c2. No, that's dumb. Then he takes and goes rook c3. I want to go like here and then try to infiltrate with the other rook. It won't bring me much. No, you don't need to have above average IQ to be good at chess. Not today. Yeah, Quacker Quark 12. That's not possible. Why most GMs have high IQ? I don't know if that's true or not. And if it is true, then why it's true, also don't know. I wanna go here. Try to double my rooks. Like, if you want IQ, I also took an IQ test and I got that I have an above average IQ, but it means absolutely nothing to me, and don't think those tests are either reliable or that they mean anything. No, they don't forget opening theory. Even people who have lowered this IQ number lower, doesn't mean absolutely anything in my eyes. They probably have some other intelligence, like social intelligence, or something similar, higher than me, and they have a higher this number and maybe this connection making, and yeah, I don't think this IQ is very important. Yeah, maybe it's just pattern recognition. My opponent is in time trouble. Maybe he's panicking a bit. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Now I should probably escape to h6. Might go rook h8 then. It feels like I'm getting some chances, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just, because I'm not sure how he's going to defend against all of these. Maybe rook h8 to have checkmate, a checkmate threat, which he does, unfortunately for me. I can go knight h4. Maybe. Unless I'm blundering something stupid, but I don't think I am. Now if we go knight f5 back, he's going to play rook g4 probably. But then maybe I can play king h5. No, king h5, right, h7 is dumb. I'm also getting down on the clock. I don't know which IQ Hikaru has, ask him that. I'm not sure how to untangle here. At least he doesn't have a threat yet. So maybe I can take a pawn. But I will lose this pawn in the process. Let me go here. Now he can't take the pawn because this is a threat. I want to see how he's going to improve his position, which piece he's going to move. If he moves the knight, then he's going to get into trouble. If he moves this rook, then... Okay, so he will just move the pawn. I will just wait. I want to see how he improves the position. And just wait. If he goes a6, I will have to take it, but then I will defend my pawn on e6 at least. Still, now he can maybe move some other of his pieces. This is a very strange position. All the pieces are frozen. Both my pieces and his are frozen. What's the point of this? Does he want... What if I go here? If I go rook a1 back, what does he do? Rook f7? Probably rook f7. So maybe I should go here. I think I should definitely go here, actually, because h5. Look at this rook. Look at this rook. Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? What have I done? What have I done? I blundered in one move. I got chances there, but I screwed them up. Screwed up that so badly. I got chances there and I screwed it up. And then people in the chat say that I'm smart. The rook was pinned. Yeah, the online tests are not worth it. Any IQ test is not worth it. Trust me on that. I mean, I've taken it, so I do know a thing or two about what I'm talking about. The rook was pinned, yeah, pawn. What? Maybe my opponent felt sorry for me. Maybe he's also tired. I don't know. This is not GM level play, that's for sure. You got something like 135 on the official one, but you can confirm you're as dumb as it gets. Yeah, I mean, I got one higher than 135, and basically it just means that doesn't mean anything. It means that you have a number which you're not sure what it is exactly, and that people may think of you as smart, which is not true at all. Yeah. Okay, thanks guys for watching. We will analyze the games briefly. I have to go soon, so I can't really make full analysis of it. I can only make a brief analysis. But, yeah. This line, 94. So who told me in the chat that the exchange sack line was not so bad according to the engine. Rook b8, rook a2. Now b3. b3, b5 takes bishop b2. That's a very strategical plan, maybe a good one. Yeah, after knight c4. Knight b6, queen b6, and then bishop d2, there is rook b2. Why didn't I think of that in the game? Yeah, surprisingly enough, the engine doesn't give this position as so bad for black. But here I outplayed him after I managed to go e5. This rook a1, I think it was a decent move. Yeah, probably he didn't have stand too much of a chance here in that Benoni. This was pretty one-sided, I think. It's not that I blundered too much. Let's see game 2. I don't know. I don't really think the IQ should be ignored. Great comeback. Yeah, the match ends in 2-2 again. While I deserved to lose the last one, I did deserve to win this one in the Grunfeld. Where was the end of the theory? When I played b6, probably. Even though there are some games. Position itself is usually probably somewhat better for white here, but yeah, you do have active pieces in the clear plan with black. d5 was probably not needed, yeah. It gives me the c5 square for the knight, and that knight was extremely strong there. Knight c3. This was probably all fine. Queen e6, rook e1. This knight e4 tactics, I burned basically all my time, but I did calculate it correctly. And yeah, this stand game is surely winning, but I managed to not win it. Probably all of this, like I need the rook on the c file to be able to go rook c3 for sure. I don't need it on the e file at all, which is blocked by the bishop. But yeah, here with b4, rook b6, you said that rook e3 is the winning move. Yeah, this I didn't see, but it actually makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty sure I would have seen it had I had more time, but I didn't. And here it's just a draw. I can't do anything. I don't believe that I can't do anything here. What if bishop f6? I just read. How is this drawn? Maybe I'm just dumb. You guys know that I'm not a good endgame player. Let's see, game 3, the Neither one, which was yeah, this has been theory up to here, but Queen g3 maybe wasn't all that great. And the a3 b4 plan is probably, even though the engine likes it, they don't like pushing pawns in front of your king. I really don't like it. Queen e7, now ed, and here I'm already worse. But I do not like ed5 ed. b5, that I would not consider, even if I don't do that. I would consider some king b1. But then I thought that rook h4 and this pawn is going to be hard to defend. I didn't like this position. That's why I went for e5, but that's even worse. The bishop a4 move was what I expected. This was probably even stronger. And now, I think Arsenal Fanrich in the chat said rook h2, which my opponent didn't see, but it was probably good because he's threatening immediately with this and knight c4, and I'm not sure which move I have. Here, I thought rook e2 is stronger. With queen c4, it's even more precise. Yeah, and what he did in the game, it was also quite good. But maybe I had chances. Bishop d3, rook f3. b5, that did occur to me actually. But I thought that cd... Actually, this rook h4 was probably quite strong. Oh no, rook f2. Why didn't I see... I didn't even see rook f2. But yeah, after rook f4 takes, bishop c4. I'm still worse, but I should have at least seen the move, because here I just lose. But okay, the time scramble was also a problem. You can't really see things with only 10 seconds on the clock. Yeah, it was a savage move by the engine indeed. Yeah, I realize chess is hard, but you should not take the engine evaluation as something to always. Sometimes it's better to play an equal position where it's just very hard to play for a human than just some position where the engine says you're somewhat better, but where the engine says you're somewhat better. Yeah, so maybe rook b8 was the better move here. Then maybe I have ideas with bishop a6 and knight before knight d3. But I didn't note here. But yeah, f5 I was sure. I knew that it's not a great move, but I didn't want to wait passively. Next time I will wait passively because of what happened in this game. Knight b3. Yeah, this is all bad. How was I supposed to defend? Maybe knight b3 first. Yeah. Maybe knight b3 first. Here I did consider it, but I wasn't sure with... No, what was I not sure about? No, not bishop c4. I think I was thinking about this. Maybe I didn't see something. Yeah, and c6 was a horrible move. I should take and go knight a4, c6. I didn't even see this idea. And now it's long suffering. Somehow I got chances there when all the pieces got frozen. When all the pieces got frozen here with rook g4. Now I was just waiting and... Yeah, I was just supposed to wait. And surprisingly enough, how is this not winning like on this... rook b4? Why rook b4? Isn't this low? Okay, rook b4 that I would not probably find even in a tournament game, but yeah, the engine is, as you say, savage. Yeah, here my opponent just blundered. Okay. "7 years becoming a GM must have a higher IQ," but okay, the pandemic costed me like 1.5 years of playing. I couldn't play a single event, even though. But before I became a GM, my rating was 2580, so I was the strongest IM in the world for a long period of time. Okay, it depends if you misunderstand chess or not. Like, the more you work, the more you understand, of course. Okay. It's time that I find someone to raid you to. And yeah. How did I get that high of a rating without making norms? I mean, I was always doing good results consistently, but never above 2600 performance, or I would not have enough rounds, or something would always occur. Not enough GM opponents, and my rating would go up, and my title didn't go up. That's true. You can see me, but I can't see you. Yeah, I don't think I'll play the Bullet Brawl, but tomorrow I will play a thematic event on the Sicilian Rosalimo with prizes. 3+2, Zoom needed, anti-cheating existing. That will be fun. Yeah, today don't expect me to go for Bullet Brawl or all titled arenas. Yeah. Anyway, we'll raid WFM from Hungary. She has also raided us several times. Have a great day. Bye bye.